O Allah, guide me among those whom thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what thou hast judged. Surely thou judgest, and none can judge against thee, and he whom thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art thou, O Lord, and exalted be thee above what they set up besides thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is thy servant and apostle. Amen.
You're tuned in to the Mind of an Entrepreneur show with your host, myself, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad. I am a multi-million-dollar business developer. I have developed business and real estate around the world, and I want to share with you my mental strategies, my technical strategies, and how I made it in the world of business. So I don't teach theory. I tell you about my life and introduce you to people who can also share with you what they've done to become successful. This is a practical show. This ain't a theory show. You don't want to miss it. So stay tuned. This is Sister Sajdah Muhammad. We are proud to announce that the Sajdah House commemorative Elijah coins are finally here. As we renovate and restore the former home of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have recycled the old copper gutters and downspouts and created a 1-ounce 39-millimeter coin made of 100% pure copper. Each coin is professionally graded and has its own barcode and registration number. This priceless heirloom, made from recycled copper from the messenger's home, is now available at sajdahhouse.com. Peace and blessings, family. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the fireside with me. Can y'all believe it's already time to be fireside? I was going to wear my brand new Mind of an Entrepreneur sweatshirt. I don't know if you all got yours or not yet, but it was too hot sitting this close to the fire and being in the sweatshirt. So I didn't wear it. I wore my gratitude t-shirt. So welcome. I want to give us an opportunity to put in the chat any questions or any thoughts that you want me to talk about and expound upon. I want to connect with you all today. You know, there's been so much talk lately about whether someone's actions are low vibrational or high vibrational. And I just thought it was interesting. I've been on a lot of shows this week, a lot of webinars, and I just got to figure out how we're going to balance this right, because I used to go live a lot more, but now there's just not enough time in the day anymore between the different meetings and stuff like that that I end up having. So that's why I want to connect with you all on Saturdays. And did I tell y'all, do y'all know how the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks came about? So, I've had the Mind of an Entrepreneur show now since 2009. And part of that show now, extension of that brand, is the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks. But the way it came about is because when people would come to my house or hang out with me and stay with me or whatever, I just loved the morning talks. I love just sitting around with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, just fresh off a prayer, fresh and high vibration, just woke up and having conversations. And so a friend of mine kept saying, you should do a coffee talk. You should do coffee talks. And they were like, you should do it every morning. And I was like, well, I don't know if I'll be able to do it every morning. And so I started doing it randomly. And then we just decided, we settled upon Saturday. I don't know how we got to Saturday, but it's fine with me. I actually love it. This is one of my best times of the week, just coming out here and chatting with y'all. So I set up today on my laptop in front of the fire. So the laptop's a little slower than the desktop in terms of broadcasting, but I thought maybe I'd start moving it around a little bit, giving us a little bit of variety. So put your questions, comments, anything you want to talk about in the chat today. We don't have a video. We don't have any music. It's just going to be us. Going back to all this conversation in pop culture now about vibrating high. And I think it's good that we're starting to turn our conversations in that direction. And I was watching a sister, and she was talking to, I think she was a coach, and she was talking to one of her clients about not being high vibrational. It had something to do with her plate or how she was eating. And I was thinking about that, and I said, there's a beautiful lecture out there by, he's an old school reverend. My grandmother used to listen to Reverend Ike. Y'all up on Reverend Ike? If you ain't, you should be. Reverend Ike has a lecture talking about how the impact of judgment and when you judge someone. And if you think about that as a mathematical thinker, right? If you understand judgmental thinking from a mathematical standpoint, and you understand what judgment does from a mathematical standpoint, and you go back to our manifestation class where everything begins with a thought, right? So all of our vibrations, everything we do begins, of course, with a thought. So we can change our vibration. We can calibrate ourselves to something. All we have to do is think about it. That's it. That's how sensitive and how much of a vibratory universe we live in. And so if you start to look at everything from the standpoint of energy, it takes the mathematical judgment piece out of it. See, judgmental thinking is that you make a decision or a thought pattern based on an equation you solve. Now, that might be a virtual equation. It could be an actual equation, but then you judge. Once you get that answer means something. So now you tune into the answer and you attach a solution or an issue, or you attach whatever that solution means to it. So the mere act of judgment lowers your vibration. Or at the very least, it adjusts your vibration to that which you're judging. So it's almost impossible to not judge, because that's the kind of person we are in. We're always, especially when you're in survival mode, right? And you're looking to survive, you're looking to stay safe. So there's always this idea of, and some people actually formulate their prayers like this: where they see something happen and they go, man, I'm glad it ain't me. Or I'm thankful for what I don't have to deal with. And so you have to be very careful with that. It's a natural thing to do. But it lowers your vibration or adjusts your vibration to that thing. I'll tell you a better mathematical way to think. And that is when you look at everything in terms of energy. And then the energy kind of helps you to remove the judgment. So you just understand energetically where a person is, where something is, where a situation is. And then you just go, okay, I understand. So now you start learning to adjust your life to the vibration that you need in order to produce whatever it is that you want. And you'll learn that as you start to look, tone down the judgment, because even righteous judgment is an adjustment. And like I said, there's some judgment that you can't get around. Some of it you're going to do, we're going to do as people. It's part of learning also, right? It's like you drive down the street and you see somebody in a pothole, then okay, I better make a judgment call not to go down that street. So there's healthy ways to use judgment. But if you take judgment and put it in the context of energy, it'll help you not to go too far or into a negative space when it comes to judgment. And so when I saw this person going, oh, that's low vibrational this or that, and I was like, ooh, that's a slippery slope. And for people like us, I know specifically for people like myself, most of what I have going on in my life are things that are beyond my intellectual capacity. So I'm always pushing the envelope. So I'm careful with my energy, not just my energy, but the energy that I generate from thoughts, or the energy that I get from conversations or situations. And so I have to make sure that I balance it out, because since I'm always out over my skis, I'm always doing something that's beyond my intellectual capacity. That being the case, that means that my job at that point then is to manage energy and ultimately manage vibrations. And I do that with thought energy. So when I'm in a position where I need to be able to receive, I call it receive revelation, if you will, from Allah or from the universe, however you guys see it. I say Allah, sometimes I say universe. Then I know I need to be in the right energy space in order to receive it, because it's not something that I can bulldoze through with my intellect. See, when you stay safe, then you're on a routine and you got that routine going. Or safe also means things that you can think of, things that you can control. But I always tend to end up with one or two projects out there where I'm way out there and I have to be mindful of my energy. So this week, these last 3-4 weeks, I've been so busy with different podcasts and different energy. And so I started to adjust my scheduling, because if at 10 I got this podcast going on and it's this group of people and this subject and this energy, I try not to, if that goes from 10 to 11, I try not to have something else that's a whole different energy set at 11. I try to give myself like a 30-minute recalibration set in between those meetings or in between those calls. It's especially difficult if I'm doing coaching or consulting. Coaching is hard because you have to readjust, right? After each person, because you don't want to bring the previous person's energy into the next person's. So even sometimes with coaching, I'll spread them out, like one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So like if you go on my Instagram and you decide to book me, you'll see that's kind of how the times are stretched out. And same thing with business consulting, because I'm literally trying to tune into your business, to your customers, to you, to help you, and to pull out of myself, maybe even something that intellectually I don't remember. But because I've been in and out of so many companies, excuse me, and worked on so many projects, it's it's one of those things that I have to know how to do, kind of just to go and settle in, right? And figure out, where have I seen that before? Um, Aman Kumar said, I wish you the best in life. Never lose hope. Enjoy each and every moment of your life. That's a very wise statement, Aman. And I'm not one of these gloom and doom people that says, well, tomorrow ain't promising. Although we know tomorrow is not promised. Um, and so staying present and staying in the now is very, very important. And the never losing hope piece is, to me, the most critical. Because we've all been through something where something just knocks us so hard that we just have to go, what in the world is happening? And what I tend to do during those times, if I find myself feeling like that, like maybe I'm feeling like, what is this? I don't understand it. I'm confused. Then that's when I just really go deeper into my spirituality, deeper into my faith. And I say, what is the lesson you wanted me to learn? What are you trying to show me? What are you communicating to me? Um, how can I best represent you in this situation? These are the kinds of prayer conversations that I have. Um, and then some days it's just, and that the last 2 days, I've just been saying, you know what, Allah, I don't even want to talk about nothing. I just want to say I love you and I thank you. That's it. I'm not asking for nothing. I don't, and I try to remove my ego, because the ego is like, man, I'm so glad that ain't me. I'm so glad this ain't happening to me. Thank you for this and that. And you got, I don't know, you hope that you're going to be all right, but you don't know. So the idea is to just submit. And in that submission process, um, you hear it, right? And normally you hear something, and then I go to, okay, I hear it. And so now this is what I want. This is what I'm hearing. And then I figure out, what do I have to do to close that gap? Generally, if it's a gap, it means it's something I have to rise up to and fill that space and fill that gap, which is not always easy. So for me, it's just constant work. I'm constantly working on myself. And I try to look for Allah in every single thing, no matter what. If it's bad, I look for Him. If I mess up, I look for Him. If I step outside on the sidewalk, depending upon how the sidewalk feels, I'm looking for Him. If I look at the trees, I'm looking at a plant here in my living room, and I'm like, I look for Him. So that's another way that I keep myself together and balanced, because I can't just, let me say it this way. And this has changed a lot with some people, but growing up Christian, it's almost like you look for Allah only when it's good, only when it's in your favor. Yeah, I got this. I got it going on. But He's also there when it's not in your favor, because remember, the known and the unknown are from the same place. Y'all didn't hear that, did y'all? Y'all missed that? That went over the head. I don't see y'all questions and comments in the chat. I see, let me see who I see in here real quick. I want y'all to think about that for a minute. The known and the unknown are from the same place. Okay. Sister Brenda, no questions. Experience Black LLC. Sister Aletha, Brother Carlos, Amon, Brother Lamont. Some of y'all be having like handles for your name that I don't even know how to say. I think it's like initials and stuff. So sometimes I skip over that because I don't want to mispronounce your name. Anyway, questions or comments in the chat. But remember, the known and the unknown are from the same place. Did I go over your head? What does that mean? That means that don't just think that God is present, and don't just recognize God when it's something that you know or something that you want. Because when it's something that you don't know, he's there also. When it's something that you probably don't want, he's there also. And so the idea is to look for him everywhere, even in the unwanted, even in the unknown, even in the challenges, even in the difficulties, even in the spaces where, you're just not sure, what you're going to do next. Even in all of those spaces, he's there. And so you want to look there too. Look where you don't want to look. Look where you don't like to look. Look in that person that you don't even like. Because he's always there. And it's just a very important concept, because some of the way that many of us think is we just only think of Allah when it's working. Something happened, you better say, okay, what are you trying to say to me? What are you trying to show me? Where are we going with this? That's important. I even look at if things are happening that I don't want, or not going the way I want, and I go into myself. Is there anything about myself I need to tweak? Anything about my thoughts? Am I adding doubt into my prayer, into my thought? Am I praying and asking for one thing and then doubting it in my everyday movement? What's keeping, me from pushing that lever or that cork up higher and higher? What's keeping the tide from rising? And so I look at those kind of things, because I'm always looking, to go to that next level. I'm always putting big pipelines together. So I look for that. And so I look to recalibrate myself at each new level. And I think probably in the last month, I've been introduced to a new level in my life that I'm getting to know, that I'm studying, that I'm paying attention to, and making sure I don't bring over remnants of the old stuff. So I do that. Sometimes I just get quiet. And I've done that like the last probably 4 or 5 weeks, where I was like, just get quiet. Let me just get quiet. Getting quiet is good, right? Because I'm the kind of person that I'm always calling people and reaching out. I think probably most of my phone calls are outgoing. But sometimes when you pull back and get quiet, you see that maybe people aren't just as concerned as you are, or maybe it's a circumstantial relationship, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's really okay. You just have to sometimes know that, because when you're doing your math and you're trying to put the math problem together, You need to know, is this a circumstantial relationship? Is this a ride or die relationship? Is it a work relationship? Is it just somebody that got you through a certain patch in your life? You just got to know those things. And there's nothing wrong with it. Don't, when you figure those things out, don't judge it. That's another thing we do, but the judgment that I was hearing just this week when people were talking about the low vibration, so and so is low vibrational, blah, 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 blah. And there's been so much judgment in pop culture, whether it's Lizzo and her weight and how the media is just thrusting her out there. Whether it's our brother Kanye, I mean, you name it. There's just so much judgment, and everybody looks and just judges, and I think we have to be careful, because this is how wicked this media world is. Because if we should be not judging, if we should be looking at things from an energetic standpoint, because the energy of a situation can turn around overnight. You can look at somebody today and they can be broke and down and out, and all it takes is one contract and one thing, and next thing you know, they're on top of the world. So you got to be careful with the judgment. But these people in the media know that. So they put all this stuff out there because they know that we're obsessed with judgment. And so I would say to us, practice next time you look at the news or scroll through your phone, and you're looking at situations, look at it from an energy standpoint. See if you can see that person's energy. Because believe it or not, you and I don't know how we'll respond if we get on an energy flow where, from an energy standpoint, we start to really pick up weight. But then the energy also is such that we become super successful. And then so now we're overweight, we're successful, we got people around us, there's that energy, and then they're thrusting us out in the public. A lot of us don't know how our spirituality is going to hold up. We don't know how we're going to hold up if we really already probably struggled maybe with mental illness, and then we get thrust into a big environment where we got teams of people telling us what to do. You got everybody's, I heard Oprah talking about this. You got everybody's opinion. I started to get into that. I have 2 or 3 people that I work with on a number of different fronts, and their thing is, well, I think this is what your image should be, and this is how we should put you out there, and this is what you should do. And it's a challenge to make sure that you stay true to yourself and on point, because trust me, when you get into some of these really big projects and big circles, everybody's got an opinion. And some of those people's opinions are people that are close to you, people that you care about. And so, or people that you come to care about through the circumstantial relationship, whether it be a publicist, a manager, a marketing person, a business partner. And so you just have to figure out. And so taking that time to go inside of yourself and know yourself is very, very important, because some people are very skillful at, their pimp game is on 10. And so they know how to talk that talk and get you to make a move or make a change or do something, and you didn't even realize it. Or they might be so seductive with their concepts and their ideas that they're introducing it to you and feeding it to you little by little by little. It's like a little poison. So we don't know how our spirituality is going to hold up if we're in that situation. We just see the manifestation of it and judge that person. But you don't really know. You don't really know. That's why it's important. I think the thing that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad instructed us was to always be out here sharing and fishing and bringing people into the fold, bringing people to the mosque. I know when I first came in the nation, you couldn't come to the mosque by yourself. I was very, very blessed as a very young Muslim to get into the habit of orienting people. And then once you start getting out here and going out in the world and you're doing that and you're living your life, sometimes you're not in a position where you shouldn't just be preaching everywhere. Sometimes your life is an example where people see you and go, oh, wow, I like her. Let me see what she's about. Well, not only is that a challenge, but that's important because it helps you to figure out who you are. See, when you are in a confined space, if you're always in the temple, you're always in the church, you're always in the synagogue, you're always there, and that's all you do, and you only associate with people that are in that circle, and then you have an opportunity where you're out of that circle or out of that building or out of that place, you don't know how your spirituality is going to hold up under certain circumstances. So the judgment is where we have to be careful. And so since things are changing so much around us, I encourage people to focus more on energy and focus more on looking for Allah. And here's the other thing, praying and studying every single day changes and adjusts your vibration so that then when you're in a situation, first of all, you're attracting certain situations to yourself. But then not only are you attracting them, the way you deal with them is going to come out of the vibration that you have. So that's important as well. But you got to get out there and test that vibrational thing out. See if you can make it. Because it's easy to talk smack and you ain't out here in the world. It's real easy. Let's see. Brother Carlos said, what is your favorite book from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? It is hands down Message to the Black Man. Hands down. I have read that book so many times. Many, many years ago when I taught orientation, I came out of that book. I created a study guide from that book. I'm working on a few things I'm not going to talk about based on that book, but hands down, I would say that's my favorite. That book is just what they say, chock full of knowledge, of information. And I think that book, in my opinion, in addition to the study guides, are great ways to calibrate yourself to the truth. See, some things we read because we don't really understand it, we get thrown off. But that book is written so clearly and so plainly that it's easy to relax while you're reading it. And in that relaxation, your energy changes. And then once your energy changes, then everything else around you changes, right? Everything you see, everything you do, it all just changes. So that's my question. I mean, that's my answer to your question, Brother Carlos, from Detroit. Okay, so anybody else, anything else they want to put in the chat? But I just wanted to talk this morning about judgment and low vibration because you just don't know. You may think you're super spiritual. You might be the super spiritual God. You don't know how your spirituality is going to hold up. I think, I'll just leave it at that. You don't know. So you want to constantly be studying and praying, constantly. When I was on the road as a consultant, there was a point where I didn't like it and I didn't necessarily want to be there, but it was the best thing that ever could have happened to me because I got into a routine of going deep into my studies, deep into my prayers, but deep into what I call emotionalization. And you all probably have heard me talk about that before. I had an opportunity to get in a routine um, and calibrate myself. And during that period, I created a lot of businesses. I created the Mind of an Entrepreneur show. I used to end up doing it from just about every hotel. Every week I was in a different place. And then I moved it to Sundays because most Sundays I would be settled. Either I will have gotten up and got to the city wherever I needed to be on Monday by the time Sunday, at 7 p.m. came, or I'd be at home and I'd already be, settled, and maybe I was leaving in the morning or something like that. So I had switched it to Sundays, but it was the best thing. So that's what I mean about judging something. I had to just go with the energy. And when I would sit down and just think about the energy, I say, you know what? This is exactly where I need to be. This is exactly what I want to do. I know I'm running around. And if I don't ever see another hotel or never see another plane again, I'm okay. But it helped me. And it helped me with formulating that concept of judgment. Because my judgment call was what I wanted, and I was constantly looking at how I was living based on how I had defined my life. But then when I started looking at it from an energy standpoint, I was like, man, this is pretty good. And it was a little shift in just the thinking, just a little shift in not being judgmental, because judgment involves our ego. Judgment says, I'm better than that. I'm better than that. I'm not better than that. And so somebody comes in our face, we're judging and comparing how we look to how they look. We're comparing our weight to them. We're comparing our height, our house, our car. The comparison and the judgment there is very, very dangerous. Keeps you at a low vibration. Instead, look at energy, because you can match energy. See, sometimes Allah will send somebody around you. The manifestation of what you're looking at, the manifestation of the energy might be their looks, their vibe, their dress, their weight. But if you look at it from an energy standpoint, you can easily say, you know what? I feel his energy. I feel her energy on this subject, and I like it. And let me see what I can do to match my energy to that. That little shift will make a difference in your life. You won't go places and constantly feel insecure. So be careful with comparing. Oh, they're younger than me. They're older than me. Somebody told me the other day that they had some people working for them, and that they ranged from the ages of 23 to 25. And she said, man, I would love this person was in her 60s. She said, I wish I was that age again. And I was like, ain't no way in the world I would go back to that confused state. I said, I'm real happy with where I am. And I told her, I said, if you get happy with where you are, then you'll look better. Stop counting. Then you just flow with the universe. Stop counting, stop comparing. Those are good math skills, but not in that situation. So let's back up off the judgment. Back up off of it. Some of us are analytical, and sometimes you analyze something, but and it's important. You got to analyze, because a lot of time, like I said, if you see somebody driving down the street and they fall into a sinkhole, you need to be able to create a judgment call to say, I'm not going down that street. Same thing with behavior. It's like if you know that you and that person maybe have the same behavior, or y'all in the same environment, you know if you need to say, I need to make a left turn here because she went down this street, this happened to her. let me just keep going. Let me make a left or a right. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where we literally sit up, package people, put them in categories, and guess what? You do that on the opposite way too. So you're stunning your growth. And what I mean by the opposite way, somebody come in front of you, they might be riding nicer, they might be looking nicer. See, that's what causes that E and J. It's all that judgment, all that comparison. If you see that person, somebody walk in the room, they own the room, get into that energy. Oh man, what kind of energy is that? That's beautiful. I love that energy. I love how the way she commanded the room. I love the way she walked in and her skin glowed. And she looked so confident in the eye. I love that. And so you feel that energy and you say, okay, it doesn't mean you go look and try to be exactly like the person. You don't have to go try to dress like them. You don't have to go try to act like them, but match the energy. Start practicing, recognizing energy and matching the energy. Then you can learn better. Because if you're judging people on the other side saying I'm better, then you're judging on that other side as well. And things can go south for you quickly. So, all right, y'all, that's what I wanted to talk about today. That's what came to me because as I was going through, all of these different articles and just kind of reading and catching up, I have a lot to say about the financial market and all of that, but I may save that for Wednesday. But because I keep up with Bloomberg News and all the stuff that's happening. That's the thing I love. I love the economy and business and all of that stuff. So, we don't talk about that today. Plus they like to take pages now when you start talking too smart about the economy, right? But anyway, Wednesday on the Mind of an Entrepreneur show, y'all know this whole month we've been doing, I just been doing a series of just showing us different aspects of importance that we should be focused on as we are nation building. And why is that important? Because some of you all may be saying, well, I ain't in no nation. I ain't trying to build no nation, or I can't do this by myself. But let me tell you why that's so important. It's important because even in your home, even in your life, even in your situation, you should be nation building. You should be thinking about what are you passing on to your children? What are you doing for your community? I had somebody ask me a question one time on a panel, and they asked me some advice. And I said, well, it really just depends on what you're doing. Are you nation building? Are you just stacking dough for yourself and that's only for you? How much do you give? I have people, advisors who come to me and say, you know what? You give too much. You just look like this person who gives. And I said, well, I could see you saying that because you're not a nation builder. You're not nation building. See, if I'm here and I got all of this going on inside of me and the experiences I've had, it's not for me to hold on to and sit like it's a trophy up on the wall. I'm supposed to share. I'm supposed to share my rewards with my family and friends. And my experiences that I bought and paid for with my blood, sweat, and tears are my rewards. And I have no problem sharing that. I share my finances with my family and friends. I understand the flow of blessings. So I'm not getting something and taking it and holding it and stunting like, look, y'all, look what I got. I understand the flow. I understand that life is a flow, and I understand that abundance is a flow. And so, again, like I said, you can easily have so many people around you with so many different ways in which they see things, and they may very well be of value. You should always have advisors and coaches and people around you who are smarter than you, or at least smart as you, right? But you just have to know, what your goals are and be clear on whatever that is. So anyway, yes, gratitude, not matching the person's energy, matching the quality of the energy around. Yeah. So that begins with awareness of energy. And it begins with the awareness of your energy. See, a lot of times, a lot of us look at somebody else's energy, but we're not clear on the compass where we are. So we don't really know how to really evaluate that person's energy because we don't know our energy. We didn't bring our own environment into the room. We don't know, or at least we don't know what type of environment we're bringing into the room. So the first thing to do is begin with your energy. And there's ways that you do that. You do it with your thoughts, you do it with your intentions, right? And you do it with your mood. So for me, how do I do that? I start with gratitude, I start with prayer, and then I set my intention. What is my goal? What is it that I desire to do? And I tell Allah my intention before I go into that space, before I go into that room, before I go to that lunch meeting, that dinner meeting. I pray to Allah, I'm grateful for it, but then I let him know what my intention is. So I've kind of set myself up. I set a tone for myself. So now when I come into a room, I can make a determination, a specific type of judgment as to whether or not what's in the room ties with what I just had, the conversation I just had with Allah about. If I'm going to a meeting, I sit in my car a couple seconds and do that. Or on my way there, if I know I'm a couple blocks away, say my quick prayer, set my intention. If it's a big situation, the night before, the morning of, I'm doing my prayer, setting my intention, creating the mood before I get there. Because the intention will tell you what energy you need to have. Why? Because thoughts are spiritual energy. So the intention and the thought sets the mood. Remember how fast your thoughts travel. You infect the environment. And then it becomes real easy to tell what's going on around you. All right, y'all. So Wednesday, let me just give y'all this quick before we go. Wednesday, I've been doing the series this month, talking about nation building. We talked about construction, the construction industry last week. Let me know if in the chat if y'all saw that show. The week before, we talked about the importance of education and the importance of marrying and creating a partnership between our educators and our entrepreneurs. That's really, really important, right? Because there's resources on both sides, and people who are graduating should know that they have this funnel of this pipeline, these opportunities that they can go into. People who are opening businesses should know that there's a pool of resources that they can grab that are like-minded, that they can train. So that is very, very important. And I gave the example of how I know when I was graduating from college, some of the people that were on interviews with me, they already knew the company. They knew the culture. They knew everything about it because they had interned there for so long. So who do you think is going to have the advantage? That person who knows. So we talked about that. So this week we're going to talk about arts and culture. And we're going to talk about the tremendous influence that hip hop has had on the global world and the global economy. And we're going to do that with our brother Tyree Hakeem. He has a new album out. He just signed to Rock Nation. So proud of him. We're going to have a conversation with him, but we're going to use hip hop as a way to help you understand how important our culture is and how valuable our culture is and how important it is that we preserve our culture. Our culture should be being preserved. I mean, every chance you get, preserve your family history, preserve your pictures, anything you've done, preserve it, write it down. So we're going to talk about that. Okay. Make sure you all go out there, get your commemorative Elijah coin. That's another way to participate. That's urban historic preservation. You want to participate in that, and make sure that you go out there, get your coin. Um, Help me with the completion of this project. This project definitely has its own rhythm. This project has lots of tentacles that have gone out around the world. And so I'm so grateful for those of you who have been supportive so far. I'm grateful for those of you who have not supported, who plan to support. I'm even grateful for those of you who haven't supported and don't plan to. It's all in the divine plan. So thank you all for listening today. Make sure you don't chip and dip me. Go out, make a donation. I think I give y'all some valuable information, and my coaching colleagues and my consulting colleagues, they stay on me. But you know what? I don't really listen because I give, and they're telling me I should be charging like memberships, and people have to pay a membership to come and listen and talk. I had somebody present that business model to me. Somebody else said, stop giving out business advice. And I don't know. I just feel like what happens so much in life when you're trying to matriculate through that, I know for me, I wanted somebody to put me up on game. And I wanted somebody to put me up in front of checks. And I wanted somebody to show me how to get it. And I felt like I could shorten the learning curve if someone had done that. But it's okay, because what I set out was, I'm going to be the opposite of what I've seen. So I want to be that person that puts you up on game, gets you in front of some checks, help you to be happier, healthier, wealthier, and to experience more love. That's my intention, and that is my entire goal. So with that, family, stay tuned. Check out my commercial. Oh, you know what? I don't think I can play this because they may shut me down for copyright. Okay, we're gonna pass on that. Anyway, nonetheless, y'all, go out, get your commemorative Elijah coin. Go to sajdahhouse.com, get the coin, support the completion and renovation of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. Listen, this is going to be huge. We're going to be on the metaverse. We got NFTs. We're taking this thing, these teachings, this word, this way of showing and demonstrating our history to a whole new level. Trust me. And every day, literally, this project is so alive. Every day, some new part of it wakes up, or to the point where now I really can't honestly keep up. I'm just kind of flowing. But yeah, so yeah, people are telling me I should have a subscription based and that in order to get on the Coffee Talks. They even said to me that there would be more people on Coffee Talks and more people buying I sell the shirts, like the Mind of an Entrepreneur shirts and sweatshirts and stuff, as a way to, pay for our broadcasts and things like that, so that I don't necessarily have to charge. So that's why I always tell you all, look, go out there, go to the link in my bio, at least get a sweatshirt, at least get a t-shirt, at least Cash App a few dollars here and there. Because I feel like, this is my thought, you all, I'll say this real quick in our last couple minutes. A lot of us are not at the vibrational space where we can afford $1,000, $5,000, $50,000 to come and get some of the type of knowledge. And I get invited to places to speak. They get mad at me because they feel like, yeah, but you give it away. So if we have to wait until we're at that consciousness level where we can spend $1,000, $2,500, $15,000 to go to Tony Robbins or Marshall Silver or any of these big places, if we have to wait until we're at that vibrational level, to get access to this type of knowledge, then when will we get it? And so somehow somebody has to spark our energy. And I'm talking about those of us that are entrepreneurs somehow, or want to go into business and do for self. Somehow somebody has to spark something in us and start to raise our vibration so that maybe then we can attract the money that we need to be able to pay for these type of higher levels of education. Most of us didn't pay for our own college education. So you think if we didn't pay for college, that we're going to pay for advanced knowledge at this level? Most of us are not going to do it. And so, yeah, I agree with, they go, yeah, but Wendy, but when it's free, people really ain't going to do it. I said, but it's somebody out there that's listening, and this is going to change their life enough that, and there's enough people, they'll buy t-shirts and the stuff like that, that we need in order to support the brand, in order for me to move around, because I just want to try this model. And maybe at some point I'll switch, but right now I don't want to do that. And so, but I've been getting a lot of pressure from folks calling me up. It used to be my my professional colleagues, but now it's like coaches and trainers and stuff. But my coaching, I charge very minimal for. I charge more for business consulting, because I got to build your business and help you expand your business and scale your business. Then I end up, that's a fee. Okay, that's gonna cost you. That ain't gonna be free. But some of the stuff that we get on Sajdah Saturday morning coffee talk and a Mind of an Entrepreneur show, it's just gonna cost you a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or a couple dollars on Cash App every week. And so, I think this is much needed in the universe, and I think I can do my part to help. And I'm just trusting on y'all to help with the flow. Money is just energy, right? So it's the flow of energy. So I gave you some energy, flow that energy right on back to me. Cash App, $Mo today, MOETODAY, or go to sajdahhouse.com and or get your commemorative Elijah coins and use that. That's going to be your membership. You want to get that anyway, because you're not going to want to miss out on the Elijah Muhammad experience that Sajdah House is going to be offering. You're not going to want to miss that. So, all right, family, peace and blessings. Thank you. I see your comments. Brother Timothy says, it is much needed, sis. All praises due to Allah. Thank you. Brother Lamont said, I'm getting a sweatshirt. Looks so nice. Thank you. Sister Letha said, thank you. When Mistress said, yes, ma'am. Okay, praise be to Allah. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you for joining me fireside today. We're going to do more of this. Inshallah, soon we'll be able to do some fireside chats from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. I'm telling you, get your coin. Go to sajdahhouse.com because you want a membership. That number on the back, the number on the back of this coin is going to be part of your membership number and your access to membership. You're not going to want to miss the Elijah Muhammad experience. When you step up on the property, whether you step up virtually, Kevin Franklin, my brother, says thank you. Thank you for your time. You're welcome. Thank you. Listen, when you step up on the property, whether you step up in person or whether you step up virtually, you're going to first hear, welcome to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad experience. And be it the will of Allah, you will experience the Honorable Elijah Muhammad like you never have experienced him before. I'm talking about in a new way, in a life-giving way. And my goal is that you should be walking out that back door saying, where is he? I want to go meet him. Trust me on that. I believe that Allah is answering that prayer for me. The Elijah Muhammad experience, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad experience, is something that you will have never experienced before. Just the house alone. And we're going to do everything we can to transfer that vibration virtually as well. You talking about he lives. Look, get that coin, SajdahHouse.com. You're not going to want to miss it. You're not going to want to be left out. And guess what? I'm telling you, I know it's going to happen. You remember when the African American Museum opened and there was a 2-year waiting list? I think we'll have a longer waiting list than that. So you're going to want this membership. You're going to want to access virtually, because the African American Museum didn't have virtual access. We're looking to have virtual access, in-person access. We have to have a way to prioritize access. And it's through these memberships, which is going to be the only way, because we can't accommodate the millions of people that want to come. Some of those millions are going to have to go virtually. You want to be one of the ones that can come in personally. So get your coin, get your coin, get your coin. I can't stress that enough. Y'all going to remember I said that. Y'all going to say, she said it. She said, get the coin. All right. Peace and blessings, family. Love you all.
You belong to yourself. You're an independent people, created from the nation of free people. Yes, sir. You don't need to go nowhere but to yourself. Yes, sir. There will be a great separation. Yes, sir. So I said, it is on now.
The college is meant to prepare you for your future. That the time dictates that if we don't do something for ourselves as a people, we will be destroyed. And the aim of the enemy right now is to take us out.
We have God with us. We have Him as our guide. Yes, sir. We don't have to stand around here and ask the question, what must be done? Yes, sir. Get up and let's go and do something. Yes, sir. We cannot sit down. We cannot lay down. Yes, sir. We must get up. Yes, sir. And go to work.
Do you know what real joy is in life? Visioning something and bringing it into reality. That's real joy. Do you know what the next step in joy is? Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell in unity.
Tonight, you need to fasten your seatbelts. We're going to hear from some of the greatest minds in the world. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of trusting our future and the future of our children into the hands of those who don't love us. I believe we need to revitalize black leadership.